athletes. And when I'm counseling them, they'll talk about, oh, I need high protein diet. What I do is I estimate what their protein needs actually are based on their body weight and using 1.2 to 1.8 grams protein per kilo so that they get a number. Then I divide that number into, um, well, I believe in 4 meals a day: breakfast, first early lunch, later lunch, dinner. So if a person needs 120 grams of protein, then ideally that's 30 grams 4 times a day. But you can adjust that according to the person's schedule and eating plan, and then translate that into food so that if they need 30 grams of protein for breakfast, I'll say, well, you're already having, do you really need 6 eggs? Do you really need, that much of your protein supplement? And then they realize that they can get the protein that they need through food, that they don't need protein bars, protein shakes, protein powders. So that saves them money. And
Mm-hmm.
it also assures them that they're doing okay with just the foods that they're eating. Or if they aren't doing okay, we figure out how they can bump up their protein intake. It really helps to give them budgets, because a high protein
Yep.
diet, what does that mean? Does it mean like all protein? It's like, no, I always talk about protein carb combinations. And I explain how uh, carbohydrates are really the fundamental part of a sports diet. So I use this. Let's see, can you see this? Um,
No, it's a bit blurred. But
it's a
it's
bit
okay. You
blurred.
can,
Is
yeah,
is that still blurred? No.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. If I do that, is put it in front of my face, or is it blurred? No. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, it's a chart from my book. It's a graphic that's in my sports nutrition guidebook. And it shows how when you do hard exercise, you deplete your glycogen stores. If after hard exercise you come back and have a lot of protein, a big protein shake, that fills your stomach, but it doesn't refuel your muscles because it's the carbohydrates, it's the grains, the fruits, the vegetables. That's what refuels muscles. And the chart shows how you actually need 3 times more carbohydrate than you do protein. And the people that I'm talking to go, oh, I didn't realize that. So that protein and carbs have two separate jobs. You always want to combine them together. So you
Yep.
have chicken and rice. You have bread and cheese. You have, carbs plus protein with a focus on the carbohydrate and not so much the protein.
Nancy, I just want to do a little add on to this question. Because for us, right, at least in our practice in snack,
Mhm.
we are actually depending on the level and the capability of the athletes or clientele that we have, we are actually teaching our athletes how to do a little bit of food exchange so that they know how to, you know, diversify their choices. Also to be able to play around with their options depending on where they are, because athletes, they travel to different places, different competitions, their food availability might be different. So, but I mean, what is your thought about this? Do you think that that's something that we should teach athletes to do, or that's something that as a profession we keep that to ourselves, and athletes should just practice what we do? I mean, I'm just asking you based on your
I
experience.
Yeah, I tend to remind my athletes that we don't eat carbs and proteins and fats. We enjoy food.
Mm.
And so I see eating as a timeline with a food bucket every 4 hours. So like on my schedule, generally breakfast at 7, early lunch at 11, second lunch at 3, dinner at 6 or 7. And that's a schedule that often fits eating schedules in the States. I changed the word snack to second lunch. And that could be divided into fueling up, refueling, or if an athlete is training in the morning, their breakfast could be divided up again to fuel up, refuel. So the goal is to surround each workout with food. And in each food bucket, you need at least 3, if not 4 different kinds of foods. So they need to be able to count to 3. So if they're just having protein shake, they need to put in a banana, some milk, and have some toast on the side. So the 4 food groups, as you know, are grains, fruits. I combine fruits and vegetables,
Okay.
protein, and dairy, or calcium-rich foods. So so that if they're just having eggs for breakfast, then they need to add on to that. If they're just having rice, they need to add some fish and some vegetables to it. So they know that they have to be able to count at least 3, if not 4 different kinds of foods. And if they do that, then they will get a good variety of foods and a balance of carbs and protein.
Mm. All right. Thanks for sharing that. I think that's very useful. We don't just eat carbs and proteins and which is
No,
very true.
we enjoyed bananas and rice and fish and vegetables and yogurt and yeah, and so the E in eating's for enjoyment. Um, but it's also important to get that variety of foods for a variety of nutrients. We don't need just carbs and protein. We need all sorts of different vitamins and minerals that help the body function well. So
Mm.
that's where I look at color. And by combining fruits and vegetables, a lot of athletes here say, oh, I don't eat much fruit. Well, I say, well, if you don't eat much fruit, then eat a pile of vegetables. When you're eating them, just don't have one little piece of broccoli, have a whole pile of it, or if you're having some, a banana and that's your fruit for the day, make sure it's a big banana. But just trying to work with them so that they understand the importance of a variety of foods to get a variety of the different nutrients that will help them not only perform at their best, but to stay healthy. Because an
That's
athlete
true.
who gets injured isn't able to be an athlete. And the
That's
goal
right.
is injury prevention as well as injury healing. And every time a person does a really hard workout, they get these little tiny injuries that need to heal. And that's where on a
Mm.
daily basis, they want to be fueling up, refueling with a variety of foods. That said, they don't have to eat this perfect diet to have an excellent diet. So I find that many of my clients are perfectionists,
Mm.
and they try to eat this perfect diet, which is like no sugar, no salt, no fat, no this, no that. And it's like, no, 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 no. 85 to 90% quality foods, 10 to 15% fun foods, so that it's okay. Eating a sweet does not negate all the good stuff you put in your body. It will not hurt your
That's right.
performance. Yeah.
I like that. I like that very much. And also definitely on the fruits and vegetables because Nancy, 95% of Malaysians, and I said 95, right? 95% of Malaysians don't eat enough fruits and vegetables
Mhm.
a day, which means only 2 people or 3 people in this webinar eating enough fruits and vegetables, not
Mhm.
including you. So I think we have a lot to do in Malaysia as nutritionists and dietitians, and I really like that. If you don't get your fruits, you eat a pile of vegetables to make up that amount, right? I I really like that. And I'm just gonna jump in because it sort of relate to another question. Throughout your career, you have seen some trends that come and go. which nutrition myth is the one that you find it really hard to debunk, whether it's with athletes or even recreational um, clients? Do
The,
you have
the,
any?
the myth that is hardest to debunk with everybody, athletic or not, is that carbs are fattening. Carbs are evil. Carbs are a waste of calories. Your carbs make you fat. And the word carbs is so tainted that I try not to use the word carbohydrate, but rather talk about grains, fruits, vegetables. How grains, fruits, and vegetables should be the foundation of their diet. They are not fattening. Yes, you can eat, um, bread with lunch and have rice with dinner. So many people just limit their carbohydrate intake. And for an athletic person, they really need those carbohydrates in order to be able to perform at their best. And again, that's
Agree.
where we talk about carbs are needed to fuel grains, fruits, vegetables, fuel the muscles. Protein builds and repairs the muscles. So you always want these carb protein combinations. Uh, and go on to explain why carbs may seem fattening, because for each 1 ounce of carbohydrate that gets stored in the muscles as glycogen, they store about 3 ounces of water. So if somebody eats a great big pasta dinner and then weighs themselves the next morning, they'll go, oh my word, I've gained like 3 pounds. Well, that means that they're well carbo loaded, and that I say,
Great.
pay attention to how well you perform the day after that big pasta dinner. And they go, wow, yeah, I performed a lot better than when I just had my protein shakes and protein bars and high protein dinner. So it's palpable. You can feel the difference when you eat enough carbohydrates to fully fuel the muscles. And you won't get fat on carbohydrate because the conversion of carbohydrate into body fat is a really tough metabolic conversion. The body preferentially burns off the carbohydrate. So I just try to assure them it's okay. It's okay to have rice. It's okay to have bread. It's okay to have pasta. And just have them focus on performance and how much better they perform.
And also not look at the scale.
Precisely not look at the scale, because that gives them not very much helpful information.
I really like that because we have a lot of athletes or even recreational athletes, when they want to lose body fat, they tend to immediately cut out almost totally carbohydrates. But but the other next move is they would add on more protein from that are not very healthy, thinking that that's okay, and it kind of backfired.
Yeah,
Uh,
it does.
which are
Particularly
higher.
if the protein is fatty, because it's excess calories of fat that are most easily fattening and easily convert into body fat. Uh, like in the States, people think salads are the best diet food around. I point out people who eat salads for lunch tend to be heavy. People who eat sandwiches tend to be leaner. And they sort of think about that. And so a salad, it can be low calorie until you put tons of dressing on it. And and then it's just fat loading and calorie loading. And so it's pointing out the misconceptions that people have. And also the other example is, I mean, in Malaysia, I'm assuming that you eat a lot of rice, and or in
Or
in
noodles.
or noodles more, well, or in China or Japan, and there are a lot of you know Asian athletes that are very, very lean that eat these bowls of rice. um, so just trying to look at the whole picture. And again, getting away from carbs and grains or fruits or vegetables.
Yep,
Nutrient
yep,
dense.
agree. And Nancy, I hope that you get to visit Malaysia soon. We are very diverse in Malaysia. We have all kinds of food, and
Mhm.
if you are a foodie, you like food, you come to Malaysia, we'll bring
Okay.
you for a feast, but we have to work out also because there's so much food to eat.
Well, but be thankful. Yeah, that can be a blessing too. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Nancy, throughout your career, right, having been in this profession for so long, and I'm sure there are so many information out there, new information that comes out all the time or comes and go, right? Because of research and maybe technology. What would be your best advice or tip for us to keep up? And also, I mean, I'm sure you're busy, right? Because you're also an entrepreneur, like Snack. We are also entrepreneurs. I would go crazy if Justin is not here or our interns or staff. You know, we just have so many things to do to manage, and we try to do the service. We try to do everything. How do you do that? And how do you keep up, to make sure that you are up to date? Any good tips for us?
It can be a full-time job keeping up to date. I probably spend, I mean, I
And you
take
wrote a
just,
book,
I,
so that's very
yeah,
impressive.
I can easily spend an hour a day trying to keep up to date. But there are a lot of really good webinars that are just available. You can Google and podcasts. I will Google podcast low energy availability or podcast creatine and choose podcasts that I respect that have well respected hosts and speakers. So that's one way, easy way that's easily accessible for everyone to keep up. I follow social media and look at the trends, and there are certain people that I follow: Trent Stellingworth, Louise Burke, um, John Hawley,
Mm.
Stu Phillips, people that are well-respected researchers in the area of protein or low energy available carbohydrates. And
Or hydration.
hydration. Yeah. So you can follow professionals on social media and learn when the new studies come out. One of the things that I do for Pines is I gather up 12 messages each month that they use for their social media. So Pines Nutrition, Pines.org is their handle, Pines.org. Not, I'm blanking. Pines Nutrition? No, the
It's okay. We'll
website's
share
Pines.
that. We'll share that link in our
Yeah,
chat. Yeah.
yeah. The website is pinesnutrition.org. I think at Pines.org is their Twitter X handle or their social media handle. But in any event, having to come up with 12 new studies each month keeps me on the toes. And it's really helpful to see what's coming out. But it's a commitment. It really hard. There's just too much information these days. I am revising my sports nutrition guidebook so that I do have to keep up to date with that as well. So staying current is like I say, it's work, but it's really important when you're a professional to make sure that you're giving out the most up-to-date information. And I'm just grateful today that I can have access to some of the top researchers just through listening to their podcasts. So I have a dog, I walk the dog, I listen to podcasts, and I'm able
I
to
like that.
enjoy an educational opportunity while I'm getting my exercise.
That's a very good tip. Yeah, and I think that also just to add that a lot of nutritionists and dietitians that I know they don't work out as much. Even for me, I'm finding it challenging also. So that's something that I need to work on. Also for others, for in this field. And Nancy, thanks for bringing up Pines because actually I've been a member since 2015. Yeah, I think so. But I find that Pines is such a great organization to really get, I mean, number one, the latest information, or even I joined the online symposium that recently happened, that I get to hear updated information and through the symposium or webinar, and also a lot of articles that you guys are
Mhm.
doing. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no, the information is really, it's a combination of the latest research, but really practical information. The webinar that was recently presented on traveling, like if you're doing international travel or just travel to a different city, and just all the problems that dietitians have, and how to make arrangements with a local hotel. And it was just really helpful. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what the mission is for Pines, to be helpful for people that are just starting out, that are sports nutrition entrepreneurs and want to make a go of it, because we can make a really big difference in people's lives.
Yes, and one thing is the reason why we and how we have you here is because I joined the Pines members networking session.
Mhm.
And so it was a great honor and pleasure for that experience, and I'm able to have you here with us today.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. And I love it.
yeah,
I love it.
yep, yep, yep. And one last question from me, and then we'll open up to the floor. I'm also conscious of time. So, what would be your advice to give to our future dietitians or nutritionists near here if they want to start out in sports nutrition? Or what do you see as important for new or fresh graduates, yeah, when they want to join in to be in sports nutrition? So because we have a lot of students, I thought
Yeah,
this would be very relevant.
yeah. I wish that I had known a lot of things. When I started, I was really focused on counseling, doing one-on-one counseling. I wanted to establish a private practice. There were no jobs working at universities or with teams. It just didn't exist. So it was really building a private practice one-on-one. When I was starting, my vision was that I'd be helping skinny teenage boys bulk up. But who was coming to me was the skinny teenage girls wanting to be even thinner. And clearly they had disordered eating, eating disorders. I had no idea that sports nutrition one-on-one would be dominated by eating disorders and people needing help for disordered eating, amenorrhea, low energy availability. So I spent a lot of time trying to market to the wrong audience. So sports nutrition one-on-one is really weight management, the whole spectrum, from just losing a few pounds to dealing with anorexia, bulimia, binge eating. When working with a group or team, there are a lot more opportunities now with clubs, schools, universities, professional teams, Olympic teams. That is a viable career today that never existed when I first started. So that when working with teams, the message is sports nutrition, fueling up, fueling during, refueling, hydrating, supplements. It's really looking at performance as opposed to, yes, and there is weight management issues on the side. So as an entrepreneur, if you're just starting your practice, you you sort of want to know, what direction are you going in? Do you want to work as a part of a club or as a part of a team? Do you want private practice where you work with people one-on-one? And you can do what's called, most people do patchwork nutrition, where they do a whole bunch of different things. So that it's not necessarily exclusive to have a private practice, and work with a team on as a part on the side, as a part of your income. Um,
Mm.
so it's, as I say, there's been a lot of changes in the field, and I think that those that are starting out today have really will have a lot easier time than I did, because I had to kind of convince athletes that food mattered. And at that time, they were on the seafood diet. They saw it, they ate it, and they would joke and say, "Oh, Nancy, I'm on the vitamin C3 diet, chocolate chip cookies, ha ha ha." And somebody else would say, "Oh, I'm on the vitamin M2 diet, M&Ms." And nutrition was a joke. But now they realize it really matters what they're eating. And there's been a huge shift. And the other shift is that athletes now are more willing to focus on performance than on weight. Like among, the running community, it was always, oh, the thinner you are, the faster you'll run. And we now know that the thinner you are, if you're skimping on food, that the quicker you'll get injured and you won't be able to run very fast. So that even among female athletes and the athletes that have disordered eating and eating disorders, they're getting different messages that what they eat really matters. So I'm just really pleased with the progression that's happened in the profession. And that again, we are a viable career choice. When I first started, a good friend of mine was the dietitian who was the first full-time sports dietitian at a university, Penn State University. And she just said, "Nancy, we'll never see jobs for sports nutritionists." And nowadays they get posted all the time. And universities just don't have one sports nutritionist. They have two, three, four, because they've
Wow.
realized how critical it is. Yeah, it's just been growing. But is that much different than what you're seeing in Malaysia? Or
Nancy, I must say that in Malaysia, we are probably 5 to 10 years behind. So
Mhm.
we are still trying to respond to the jokes.
Okay, okay.
The but I must say also to a certain extent, thanks to social media, thanks to people like maybe Esker Jokendrup, who likes to create this
Mhm.
cool infographic from those
Mhm.
really hard to read papers into infographics, because when you Google, then you can find, and because information is so easily available nowadays, and also Chat GPT. So I think that really helped,
Mhm.
especially the younger nutritionist and dietitian in terms of the career. And of course, us in Snack, we are also trying very hard to create a demand,
Mhm.
because it's not easy. Again, it's similar to the dietitian from Penn State that
Mhm.
we made. I mean, we were the first private practice
Mhm.
sports nutrition, service-based sport nutrition. Means we're not selling supplements. We are not doing that. We are actually doing the consultation, doing body comp assessment, and all
Mhm.
this really hard work. I must say.
Yeah,
So
no, no,
yeah.
it is hard. And one of the most important things that you can do is to be visible. You have to be Googleable, because where do people find their information? They Google how to carbo load. So if you've written an article on it, or if you know, are on Instagram talking about carbo loading or whatever, that you're more visible. So you have to be visible, you have to be Googleable, and it's all achievable. It just takes time. And um, there's there's a lot of opportunity for everybody. So I think it's great that you're working together to send this message that food works. And you just keep chipping away. But testimonials help. If you have an athlete that you've worked with who's been really successful, say, wow, can I talk about, write a little blog about your success story, or post
Mm,
something on social media. And just it comes with time. But think about
yeah, it
how can
does.
you be visible? And today
I
it's a
like
lot
that.
easier to be visible given social media. Yeah.
Yep, yep. I really like that. Nancy, thank you very much for all your insightful tips. And I just want to open, we have a question actually. I'm not sure if Navia, are you here? Do you want to unmute and ask the question? Navia Kim? No thanks. Okay, I will ask for you on your behalf. Okay. So Navia asks, shy. Okay, it's okay. Navia asks, does your book cater to sport nutrition needs of young athletes between tweens and teenagers? Yeah, or and any top tips?
Yeah, my book is not targeted to teenagers and kids, but that said, I've had a parent say, Nancy, my son spent last weekend, my 15-year-old son spent last weekend reading your book.
Oh.
So that it is easy to understand, easy to read. The information in it is pretty universal. And it's for both casual exercisers, but it gets down to the details for competitive athletes. And what I found is that it doesn't matter if I'm working with an Olympian or just someone who's getting off the couch and trying to become more fit. They all want to be the best that they can be, and that they're just people. So my book caters to people who are athletic. And I don't, it suits the needs of everybody. And I know one of the questions that you had sent me, Tanya, that we didn't quite get to was how do I distinguish between working with the casual exerciser versus the competitive athlete, the Olympian? And my response is an athlete is a person. I work with people. And many times someone will come to me and say, "Oh, I'm a runner." And I'll say, "No, you're a person who runs." Oh, my daughter is a gymnast. No, she is a young girl who's doing gymnastics. But when people get their identity so wrapped up in their sport, it really is dangerous because when they get injured, who are they? If they're not a runner, who are they? And so when you're approaching people, just remember there are people who maybe compete at the Olympic level. There are people who are maybe just getting into health and fitness, but they all want to be the best they can be. They all want to be healthy. They all want energy. They all have protein needs. So my book caters to that whole level, and people just want to tell me what to do, and I'll do it. And so they can figure out how many grams of protein they need, how many calories are okay to eat, how big a breakfast should I have? Why do I crave sweets? So it really addresses the questions that I get regardless of the level of expertise of the athletic person. So I'd say the book is my sports nutrition guidebook is it's pretty universal, and it's been very well received, and there's so many dietitians that recommend it to their clients, and it's just been well supported. I'm just so grateful for that, because
I have to
you write
agree.
you write a book and it's like it goes out into the universe. Does anybody even read it? But it's nice to know that people do. Yeah.
I have to vouch for it because like I said, it was my first sport nutrition book ever, and it's so easy to understand. I didn't have a lecturer or teacher to teach me, but I was trying to improve my knowledge just by reading the book. And I even make notes and yeah, anyway, I'm a bit of a nerd that time. But yeah, I do that. And we have another question from someone that I know, and she's the head of nutrition for our very first uh football team with a nutrition team. So her question, Hazira, do you want to ask? Because I think you can ask the question. Just unmute yourself.
Hello, hi Nancy.
Hello.
Hello. So basically, yeah, thank you for the introduction, Tanya. So my question is, okay, everyone can see. I just rephrase it. I work in a high pressure environment. stated just now is footballs and high cognitive demand athlete, specifically e-sport. So I just want to ask what frameworks, if you may share, do you use when nutrition intersect with psychologies? I know physically and also mentally in e-sport as well is involved psychology, and of course on behavior change.
Yeah, behavior change is a trick. What I do is talk about costs and benefits. Just yesterday, I was talking to somebody who would binge eat at night and just always save up calories. Like she was going to go out to dinner with her friends. So she would cut back on breakfast and lunch so that because she knew she'd be eating a big dinner. And and it turned into a binge. It always turned into a binge. It made her very unhappy. The next day she'd get up and say, "Oh, I blew my diet," and restrict during the day and then blow it at night. And we talked about what is the benefit of what you're doing. And what I identified was the benefit of saving up calories for the end of the day was that she ended up eating yummier food than she gave herself permission to eat if she was eating at home. So that her home diet was low fat, very boring, only healthy foods. And she loved to go out to eat with her friends because she had yummier foods. She'd have pasta and all sorts of good things. So I suggested that she give herself so that there'd be benefits to eating at home, like tasty food at home. But it's all cost benefit. When a person has an eating disorder, there's a cost, there's a benefit. The benefit is they distract themselves from feeling their feelings. And just to work with the clients to understand if there's something that they're doing that's like, this is not helping them be the best athlete they can be, figure out what's the benefit of it. And many times, athletes eat backwards. They don't eat enough during the day, and then at nighttime they're just ravenous, eat a lot, keeps them from sleeping well. But they get up and do it again. And the benefit is maybe they just like to relax at nighttime with food. Maybe they're lonely and food keeps them company. But once they can identify the benefit of their destructive nutrition practices, then they approach it from a different angle. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much, Nancy. So I think I can know that now is in terms of the cost, what costs the behavior, and when we give the interventions, what's benefit them, especially in
Yeah.
terms of the performance, right? Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Nancy.
Yeah. And if they've been like not eating carbohydrates because they're fattening, and they start eating them more, I say focus on the benefits. How was your workout, your energy? Did you enjoy having pasta? Did you enjoy having some bread? And just look at quality of life issues. Because when people have, crazy eating practices, it really interferes with their quality of life.
Thank you very much. And also, I think to add on this is sustainability is really important as well. So yeah,
Yes,
thank you very much, Nancy.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Hazira. Yeah, and thank you, Nancy, for sharing your insight. I think we are almost at the end of time. Meanwhile, we have posted the feedback form for those who are leaving. Please share us your feedback. And we will go on, and we have a few more. We can extend a few more minutes, Nancy, just in case
Yeah,
there's
I'm
another
fine.
question.
I'm fine.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. So, meanwhile, I will just wrap up today. But sometimes, in Asia or Malaysia, our questions come in a little bit later. So
Mhm.
I'll just and so I think today's session, Nancy, thank you very much. It's very insightful for me. I also learned a great deal from you, and I really like how you say, when we there are people who are very health conscious and of course perfectionists, and they just eat. They think they eat just carbs, protein, and fat, but we actually should eat a meal, well-balanced meal,
Enjoy,
and
enjoy a meal.
enjoy
Yeah.
enjoy a meal and the benefit of it. Focusing on the benefit, I think that is very important by shifting their focus and their priority. Yeah, and of course, hopefully, most of the time they're eating 80+%, 90% of quality food, and they can have the fun food. I like that. I think
Yeah.
eating should be enjoyable. Yeah,
Mhm.
same goes to all the nutrition students, dietetic students. Okay, I think sometimes we try to pay attention too much on following the guideline that we forgot how to enjoy eating. Yeah,
Mhm.
and of course, I really appreciate that you also share about how we should market to the right audience on the right thing, make our, for entrepreneurs or those who want to start out, being an entrepreneur in this field or in your field, really creating visibility. That's important. Getting testimonials is also important. And we don't want to forget that your nutrition book, I think that is very, very helpful for me. For those who I think on Amazon you can have a sneak peek, something like that. A preview of your book. Yeah. So if you're not sure, if you don't believe me, you can definitely go check that out. It's really a very useful book for those who really just want to, start in sport nutrition. And of course, I think Pines is also another very good resource. You get together all different professionals from different countries to share knowledge, to get updated. For those who are busy, I really rely a lot on the webinars and
Yeah.
I try to attend as much as I can.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good information on their website. Just all the newsletter articles are just
Mhm.
posted with research plus practical tips. And it's really geared toward an international audience with international food fact sheets. So if you're traveling to
Yes.
um, South America, or to Germany or whatever. So there's a lot of great information there.
I also like that in Pines you have dietitians from different maybe multi-sport games like Olympics. They share about their experience,
Mhm.
how they manage the team, and from the Olympic Games, because not many um, nutritionists or dietitians get to go to the Olympics, right? So I think that's a very valuable experience sharing, especially for those who may be going in the future. They can get some tips. I think that's very useful. So yeah, definitely check that out. I don't see any question. But anyway, for those who want to rewatch the whole thing, we actually have access to this for free. Yeah, so definitely check it out in the coming newsletter, newsletter or email that you will receive for those who registered. Yeah, and also we have in if you would like to learn more about our previous expert series, we actually have the Snacks membership where every 89 ringgit a year, you get full access to all our expert series from last year and this year. So do check that out. If you are lucky, maybe you might win that on our snack anniversary posted on Monday. So you need to follow us to get some insight on how you can win. Yeah. And definitely here's our QR codes, our website, our Instagram, Facebook. We have a little community WhatsApp that you can follow or join as well to get more bite-sized content on sport nutrition. Yeah, and some information. Uh, I don't have anything else, but thank you all for tonight. And apologies for the delay today, but thank you all for still joining us. We have 40. I mean, at one point we hit 40 people. That's great. I think we did have a lot of people. And thank you all for also giving your feedback. If you have, yeah, we really hope to improve. This is our last expert series. So next year we'll have something different. Yeah. So give us your feedback, share with us what you like, what you would like to hear more. Yeah. And happy snack day to everyone. And yeah, thank you very much, Nancy.
My pleasure. And best wishes to everybody that showed up. It's been an honor to be sharing this time with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Do you have anything anything that you are looking forward to before the end of the year, Nancy?
No, we were in the midst of holidays. So next week is our Thanksgiving, and then it jumps into Christmas. And there's not a lot of nutrition counseling that goes on between Thanksgiving and Christmas in the States. People are busy eating. So yeah, but no, there's no, there's never a dull moment. Like you never know. You get an email and who knows what's at the end of it, and be it a new client or an opportunity to speak. So it's fun to be an entrepreneur. It's so unpredictable, which can be nerve-wracking if you're trying to, earn your living. But in the long run, it's just really nice and satisfying to build a business. And I'm sure you're finding the same thing, that there's ups and downs, but it's satisfying.
It is, yeah. I mean, yeah, you never know what might come what might come about.
Precisely, yeah. Is most of your work like one-on-one counseling, or is it more working with teams?
We have a bit of both. Sort of a balance. We do one-on-ones. We also have different projects that is ongoing, that is keeping us busy.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we have some.
Yeah, you have to exist in the media. If you don't, there's a quote that I heard: if you don't exist in the media, for all practical purposes, you don't exist. So you give a talk, and then you offer talks, and you put it in the local newspaper calendar of events, and so that everybody knows it's happening. Or like I say, you're visible on social media. But it takes time. It's changing the culture
That is a
from
great tip to our social media marketing people.
yeah, and social media, it just eats up a lot of time.